Hello again, everyone, and welcome to A Shortstop with a Shortstop. Today we're going to talk a little bit about making a schedule. In Major League Baseball, we had schedule every year. It started off with spring training. Usually started around the last week of February and run all the way through up until April. And you would have to come and be ready to get yourself in shape. It was very rigorous. It was always repetition of taking ground balls, batting practice, pitchers throwing, going over bunt plays, going over rundowns, just trying to get everything set before the season started. But then once the season started, you had a 162 game schedule. You had to make sure that you were in good shape, that you ate right, that you got your sleep, because sometimes you'd be playing night games, sometimes you'd be playing day games. In the minor leagues, we played split double hitters. I don't know if you know what a split double hitter is, but you'd come in and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you'd play a game, and then they would empty the stadium and make everybody leave, and then you would come back and play another game at 7 o'clock that night. And it was very tough to play a split double hitter, but that's what they would do in the minor leagues. But sometimes even when the season was over, first couple of years I went to what is called instructional league. Just as soon as the minor league season was over, we went to Arizona, and then we played another 60 games all the way up until Thanksgiving. And then there was a couple of times when I played in the big leagues that just as soon as the season was over, I either went to Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic. Played another 81, 82 games over there. So you had to make sure that your schedule was done right, that you could make sure that you kept yourself in good shape and doing what you needed to do to be able to play the game, because your body was what made money for you. As a Christian, how should we set our schedules? And you know, I'm going to give you some ideas. You all may have different ideas, and that's good, but what should be the very first thing that we should do when we wake up of a morning? And me, I think it is pray. In 1 Thessalonians 5:17, it says, pray without ceasing. We should talk to our God and let Him know what's on our mind. He already knows what's on our mind, but He wants to hear it from us. And He wants to know our inner thoughts. He wants to hear us tell it to Him verbally. And that is one of the most important things that we can do when we first wake up in the morning, is acknowledge God and let Him know that we're here and that we're thinking about Him, and we thank Him for another beautiful day that He has created. And if we look in Mark chapter 1 and verse 35, in the early morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up and left the house and went away to a secluded place and prayed. That's the very first thing He did. And it was still dark outside. But Jesus got up early in the morning and went and talked to God, because once we talk to God, we can kind of schedule the rest of our day. And if we look in Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 8, it says this, Then I heard a voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Now this was Isaiah's comment back to God. Then I said, Here am I, Lord, send me. Oh man, that's a statement right there. Isaiah was ready for the day. He said, Lord, I'm in your command. Whatever you want me to do, send me. We have to understand that we, as New Testament Christians, are God's feet. We are His legs, and we are His hands. Let's schedule our day right from the very beginning after we say a prayer. Is there somebody that I can visit? Is there somebody that I can call? Is there somebody that I can send a text message to or an email? Or is there somebody that I can take a meal to? We are God's messengers. Here am I, send me. But we should be able to do that with a smile and say, Lord, I'm your servant. We need to understand that Jesus, when he came to this earth, he came to serve. But that's what he wants New Testament Christians to do. In 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 5, this is one of the greatest statements, I think, in the Bible. These people at the congregation there in Corinth said that they gave of themselves first. Now, in planning our schedule for the day, we need to first turn the TV off. We need to first say, hey, there may be a ball game on, or there may be something else going on that day, but we need to plan our day around God. As New Testament Christians, we need to see where gospel meetings are planned. We need to see where there may be something like we have here that's called Oath. We need to see where Sunday mornings are, Sunday nights are, and Wednesday nights are, and schedule everything around those things to make sure that we're with our people and where we're supposed to be when God wants us to be there. But God has given his time to us to send his only begotten Son. And he came here and he was a servant, but that's what we need to be also, as a servant. And if we serve each and every day, our schedules are going to be made up of what? It's putting God first and putting ourselves second and not being selfish. Thank you again for being with a Shortstop with a Shortstop.